Now, I'm usually showing you homes that have been built recently, maybe even under construction right now, or maybe existing homes from the last few decades. But today, I'm going to show you one that was built in 1850, right here in the heart of Brentwood, Tennessee. It is Inglehame Mansion, which is in the Inglehame Farms community. The community was built around the mansion. It's just off Wilson Pike, right across from Smith Park in Brentwood. So we're going to take a look at this incredible property. It is a broker event, so you're going to see some people in the video, but you'll still get an incredible look at the property. My name is Sean Larson, real estate broker here in Middle Tennessee and the 38 Florida market, and we're going to have a good time today. Now, if you're familiar with Brentwood, you know that 10-acre parcels aren't too common anymore for a single property, unless it's something that, has yet to be developed. But look at that driveway, and that goes straight down to Wilson Pike. Right across the street is the famous, famous around here anyway, Smith Park. Let me just pan around just to show you this property. This is just awesome. And again, it is surrounded by the Inglehame Farms community that has developed. One thing when you see historic properties like this, and you see these iron gates that have been around so long, you wonder how many horse carriages and everything have pulled up to this property before our modern day perception of it. I mean, how long have the magnolias and everything been here? You got the stone wall over there. You just imagine all the history this place has seen. And this is just to the right side of the home, as you would be standing on the front porch looking outward. I mean, look at those trees and the grounds. When you visit properties like this that were built back in the 1800s, when you're on the property, you almost get a feel or a vibe for everything. It reminds me a little bit of when you visit some of the other mansions in the area, maybe like Ripa Villa down in Spring Hill. You just can't help but to get a vibe of what all went on there over so many years. I mean, look at the character in these walkways. We're so used to seeing bright and shiny, things that have built, yesterday. And they're all crisp and everything, but when you see this, there's just an immeasurable amount of character that goes into this. I mean, look at that front porch. Also, when you see something like this with that kind of age, you think about what it would take to build this today, and they did it back then. And being a general contractor, I look for little details. I mean, just look at the mortar joints in it. That flush, that just looks so cool. You can have some texture in those columns, over the years, but that adds so much to the story. You can imagine daily life on this property back when this was built. And just think of the stories you could tell during gatherings you have today. Everybody could come out here and imagine what life was like back then. Look at that door. That is awesome. And this may have been some quarters in the back in the day. But look at that, being used for storage now. But look at that, look at the floors. And that door, I love it. That fireplace. You just can't help but to wonder what life was like here. See more really cool brick walkways, and look at that, just goes off into a garden area, makes a loop and comes back. And all this is right here in the middle of Brentwood. Okay, now amidst all the historic type buildings, we have somewhere new to hold the toys, right? So you have this at least 4-bay garage right here behind the home. Beautifully finished to coordinate with the home. But look at all the parking spots. If you've got toys, whether it be cars, boats, and what have you, you've got plenty of space for those as well. And you know this is where some of the best family gatherings take place, right here behind the home. Got the fire pit. Got your lights in the trees. Tell me that doesn't make a perfect nighttime scenario. Right here behind the home. I love too, look at that. You know, they've got the brick exterior, but look at that. They painted it just within the wall. Arches there to kind of coordinate with the inside painted brick that's kind of inside the porch. Love that differentiation there. Okay, so let's go inside, check it all out. It has been renovated and remodeled in parts. So let's go check all the rooms out and see how they look. Look at that, right when you walk in, look at that staircase right here in the front foyer. It's incredible. All right, so we're gonna go to the left and we're gonna start checking out some of the rooms here. Again, it's a broker event, so you're gonna see some people in here, but you're going to be able to see what this home's all about. And again, Inglehame Mansion right here in the heart of Brentwood. Look at the size of that. Imagine the entertaining that has gone on and will go on in the future in this room. This is incredible. And look at all the detail in the molding on this. Look at that. You got the huge base molding. You got like a chair type railing that's a little bit low. Just looks perfect on that wall. Got the trim and molding. Kind of paneling the wall there. Look at all that crown. That is awesome. Look at those pocket doors over there. Loving that. All right, let's go to the left here and check this out first. Kind of get a shot of what kind of floor those are. Nice. Oh, love that tile. Love it. Anything that has a vintage look on a bathroom floor is like award-winning in my book. I just love that stuff. And you know, you've got your gray and whites in here. And anytime you go with gray and white, black and white, you know, you've got vintage all over it, and it nails this one. This is perfect. Beautiful. Okay, even when I'm showing homes that are more current, just a few years old, I always use the bed as a reference for people on videos, so they just kind of have an idea of the size of the room. You know, because if you see dimensions, sometimes you need a kind of like a benchmark that you can refer to kind of know. Now that's a king bed, and that's a large king bed too. If you look at the size of that furniture, and you got a nightstand or a kind of a dresser type piece of furniture over there, look at all that room you've got. Fireplace. Look at the size of that firebox. Beautiful. See, and they carried that trim and that molding all the way through. Awesome. Going back out to living space here. Wow, look at those pocket doors. Look at that hardware. This leads right into the dining. Look at that.
Really? And I drink it straight. Well, on ice, not neat. I do have to drink it on rocks. Okay, bye ladies.
One thing to note as we take this tour is look at the furniture. Okay, some of this is actually the homeowner's furniture, and some of it is for selling purposes. But if you look at it, one thing it really does in this home is it kind of balances out whether somebody kept it as a period home or kind of brought it, I won't say modern, but kind of brought it a little bit more up to date in terms of furnishing. And what it does is it shows people that you can live in a historic home and have an incredible look that is more of this era. Because sometimes people see a historic home and the way it's built, and you know, some people who are very passionate about historic homes go ahead and finish them all out to period. You know, it is spot on and it looks like it did back in the day. And sometimes that can deter people who want a more modern home. But the blend of furnishings here just shows you can have the best of both worlds. You can balance out the furniture design, still have the home, but not have it, you know, the whole thing in that period.
We're transitioning always. Here's when there's a way. Here's when all bridges and gateways are always open. Right?
Look at this. This room is awesome. Look at that brick hearth and fireplace. Just to give you a reference where we are in the floor plan. That's the living space over there. Back door. So the living space and the sun porch are on our left. We're facing the rear of the home, so we're going to duck right in here into the kitchen. Okay, we're heading back toward the front of the house. You have the second staircase right there. Look how cool that is tucked back here. Living space to the right. Back to the front foyer. Look at the size of the windows. Look at that, almost floor to ceiling. We were just talking a little while ago about you can even see some of the wavy characteristic in the glass, which is so true to period. Keep in mind, we're still on the first level. The home just keeps going and going. The office area. Can you imagine everything that took place over the years in this home? How many offices do you know have that view? Cool thing about historic homes too, because they obviously used fireplace for their heating. I mean, there's so many fireplaces throughout the home. So even if somebody's not burning them, I mean, they serve as an incredible design element. Look how those doors are inset there. See, a lot of this stuff you don't see in today's designs. That's incredible. Okay, so let's make our way upstairs up that front grand staircase. But before we leave this room, there you go. Floor door. Okay, we're back to the front foyer, and we are going to the second level. Now tell me how many homes you have been in that have that. Look at that. That is incredible. Right up to the upstairs landing. And look at that view. So on the second level, we'll just turn left here. Look at the size of that bedroom. That is incredible. Look at that, you got storage flanking the fireplace there. Look at that, almost to the ceiling. Such a good use of space. Okay, so we step down a little bit to a bath, a full bath, and this continues down the hall, so this has several access points here. So we're going to circle back to the landing at the top of the main staircase, just to give you a preview of the room across the hall. at the size of these rooms. And again, we're on the front side of the home, so look at that view. Dedicated sitting room here. And so this kind of circles around. You have multiple access points. So in this particular room, you've got access from the main level. Once you come up the main staircase, you've got an access point on the hallway there. And then you also have an access point through the auxiliary sitting room next door. But what really caught my eye was that key. How cool is that? Look at the whole door latch. Man, it's those details. That is just so extraordinary. All right, so let's check out the hallway here. And we're just at the top of the secondary staircase that was near the kitchen. And that's where we are on the second level. The rear of the home there. Now, how many of you have laundry rooms like this? Look at that. Love the vintage sink. Folding area. And look at all the windows. And the hardware. This is so cool. Come into one of the secondary bedrooms upstairs. Here's a detail too. I noticed it in some of the other rooms. The old school windows. See that rope? That rope loops through to a weight that is inside the wall, inside the molding there, and that's what balances the window when you pull it up. Modern day windows use springs, and some older homes will have the rope, and the rope might need some attention, but look at that. Those are all intact. That is so cool to see. So we're back to the top of the secondary staircase. We're just going to dip in here. In one of the upstairs bedrooms, when I mentioned it circled around, this is where it brought you. So you have a full bath, you got your vanity here. Kind of serves almost like a powder would in a modern full floor plan. Look at that. Closet flanking the fireplace, storage again, almost to the ceiling there. The size of these bedrooms. Look at that. Look at that floor. I love it when somebody's working in a historic home or really even a modern home and they use vintage looking tile. Love that. They did a great job putting that shower in too. You know, sometimes in historic homes, trying to put in modern features is a little bit tough because obviously the floor plan wasn't designed for that. So you kind of have to be creative on how to do it, but wow, that was perfect to fit that in. That vanity. What a great looking bathroom. Look at that. You even have room to put the furniture in. Honestly, that looks better than a linen closet. Look how pretty that is. Wow. So again, that's the secondary staircase that comes up from the kitchen area. We can come through one of the bedrooms. I'm just kind of giving you a reverse tour here of this area. And then we're back to the main landing at the top of the main staircase. Another shot of this, because this is just so incredible right here. Okay, now historic homes always have cool spots. Now look at this. Look at that. Stone wall.
It's interesting down there because you can see all the piano.
Oh, this is cool. Look at that. And basements and crawl spaces in general are just so cool to me because you get to see so much about the home. But I mean, look at that. You see the stone? That is so cool. This is like a genuine basement. But they used it so well. I mean, look, it's your own protected, mechanical room. You got your HVAC, your water heater. Look at all that. It's perfect for that. That door got all kind of character going on. Man, this just keeps going too. Now, a lot of times, these spaces, are under the porches. So it could be that we're under the rear porch here, if I've got my orientation right when I came down. Look at that. Storage, but look at that. You got cabinets down here too. Okay, so if you're looking for like a bright and shiny brand new home, you might not appreciate all these things that I think are cool. But after you look at enough real estate, especially being a general contractor, I like seeing what makes a home tick. And when you are in a historic home like this and you get to see all these things, this is like gold. Look at that textured wall there. I mean, look at that character. So some of the cool stuff isn't always in the bright and shiny finished spaces. A lot of times it's in the other spots. And I know everybody might not appreciate that, but it sure is cool to me. I mean, look at that. The food storage on that shelf there. If that doesn't just scream, the historic basement, I don't know what does. This is just awesome. Okay, I'll take you back up to the finished space after I appreciate this for a second longer. All right, we'll go back up, show you some more finished spaces. But this is so cool. Okay, a little while ago we circled through the kitchen. Now we do want to show you this, which is a design they have for remodeling the kitchen. So if you want a more current kitchen, plans are already in the works for that. Okay, I popped downstairs just for a second. You remember upstairs when we mentioned the window weights and the weight being in the wall? This is what those weights look like. Those are inside the wall, and then the rope loops through and attaches to the window and balances the weight of the window over a pulley, and that's what keeps the window up when you open it. Okay, we made it out of the basement, or crawl space there. Love seeing those though. So we're out back, and we're going to pick up one more feature of the property, which is right back there. Let's go check that out. Okay, another shot of the backyard. I just noticed this brick walkway there. Look at all that character. And these brick columns. You still even see the hinges and everything for the gates. you imagine the horses and everything that approach this area and were hitched up over the years? All right, we're going to check out these out parcel buildings, and it is a broker event, and there might be some beverage tasting in there, so it could be a little lively when we enter. Look at those sidewalks. I know I've pointed out the sidewalks and brick so much during this video, but I just love texture. I mean, texture just adds so much character. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't want it where it doesn't belong or where it's a hazard. But it just shows time and use and different styles of design. You know, even when you go to places like Disney World, you know, and they intentionally incorporate design in their concrete through stamping, you know, they're putting horse hoof prints, leaf prints, and everything in there for that exact reason. They know the impact it has on interpretation.
Well, we're stuck. Look right here. Right up there. Down there.
Look at this. Now, we just came down that kind of trap door under one of the living spaces, and this is where soldiers had hid out. Look at this. Look at all that stone. Wow, how cool is this? Look at that. Look how old that staircase is. And again, this goes right up into the living space. I'll show you upstairs. And this is barely wide enough for your shoulders to come through. So see, this comes right up into the living room.
Yeah, it's a for real secret thing. So it is a.
Okay, so here are some of the plans for redesigning and remodeling the kitchen. So let me just give you a glimpse of that, because there are several different ones here. So this is just kind of to help you visualize what you could do with the kitchen, because the kitchen wraps around here into the laundry. So these diagrams will help you visualize what can be done here, and has already been in the works in terms of brainstorming and planning. So all you would have to do would be to implement that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I ended up stopping and talking with some agents at this event, but it is a spectacular home. Again, this is 1800 Gray Point. It's the Inglehame Mansion, surrounded by Inglehame Farms here in Brentwood, Tennessee. And just to kind of note a couple things that I took some video of, but due to things going on around me, I couldn't note them at the time. In the out parcel building behind, I videoed some letters and numbers on the wall. And those were actually written by soldiers who were hiding or camping out in the building there, and the numbers stood for the number of days that they were there. Then there was kind of the trap door, I guess as we're calling, in the living space that went underneath the home. You saw some stone, and that was also another place where soldiers kind of hid out there during the war. So just a couple notes there I wanted to make before we left, and I didn't want to forget those cool details about the home here. Again, my name is Sean Larson, real estate broker here in Middle Tennessee and the 38th Florida market, and if I can answer any questions questions about this incredible property or any property around Middle Tennessee or Florida, give me a shout. I'd love to help out because I truly believe the more people know, the better decisions they're going to make about their real estate. So I hope you have an absolutely spectacular day. Talk with you soon.